ideas to bounce off people. But really where we come in is sometimes we're fixing a problem, or sometimes it's just, you know what, listen, I'm hitting a glass ceiling and I need to reach the next level. And how do I do that? Because there's an expression out there that you need to learn more before you earn more. And you need to break glass ceilings and get beyond it, push beyond your own comfort zone, because you've probably reached the limit of your comfort zone on that. And you just need a little bit of push, a little bit of guidance, a sounding board, whatever you want to call it. But ultimately what it's about is getting a plan together that's going to be not what you've achieved already. Ultimately, it's going to be something that you kind of say, we need to push you a little bit further, is a 1, 5, and 10-year plan. But really what you need to focus on after that is what's the next 90 days? What's the next action for the next 90 days? So it's really trying to get people focused on getting a bit of momentum going. Your year is divided into 4 quarters, 4 90-day plans, and let's get going and let's get excited. A bit of fear and excitement in every plan is really what you do. So I guess to go back on your question, Melissa, I first of all start off with what I call as an alignment consultation. That's where I come in and go, okay, what are your business goals? What are your personal goals? What's the good, the bad, and the ugly in the business at the moment? What do we need to fix and where do you want to go? That's about a 2 to 3 hour session. Yeah. And then you go either weekly or fortnightly, depending on how fast you want to go on this. Weekly or fortnightly meetings to get your goals and your plan and make sure it's the accountability behind that too. Obviously, you're helping the people with their goals. You're kind of giving ideas and you're pushing them, but you're also holding them accountable to that. So they hop on the call the following week or the following fortnight. If they haven't got things done, there'll be questions asked. Nice.
Excellent. I love the detailed explanation there. So really, this is for people who need to kind of look forward. They need to get their goals in line, and they need to kind of see where I see myself in 6 months or a year or 5 years from now.
Correct. Exactly. Like what I found, like I'm a business coach, but I also have an e-commerce business myself. I started that off in 2014, 7 figures, all going well. So I balanced those two, which is pretty cool actually. It's nice. Coaching is kind of selling time for money, and the e-commerce is quite leveraged with my time. I kind of wake up in the morning after making money overnight, which is pretty cool. But what I find a lot with e-commerce and Amazon entrepreneurs, the awesomers, as Steve would call them, is they're quite tactically focused. What's the next hack, and they're kind of going from one hack to another, or and they find themselves kind of bouncing between the Amazon platform and the quirks that can be, and fighting fires on that. And I kind of going, guys, we need to take your head out of the trough here just a little bit. Take it out of that day-to-day whirlwind is what it's called, and let's look a little bit bigger than that. What's the bigger picture? Where do you want to be a bit further than that? Yeah, the hacks and the tactics are all very important, but they need to be tied into a strategy. What's your long-term strategy? So that's what I focus on, that long-term strategy. What are you trying to create? What's the end game for you here? It's going to look like you're going to sell it, you're going to cash flow it. So what does it need to look like for that? That makes sense?
Absolutely. Yeah, I think that you're absolutely on point here, because most entrepreneurs, the ones that I know at least, are, they're very competitive. They're very focused on, getting the next big thing, the next edge, right? And so that means sometimes knowing things that people don't. But it's hard to get that edge if you're not paying attention to where you overall want your business to be in 6 months or a year, because then you're not really paying attention to the key progress indicators for arriving at that destination.
No, very true. And I guess what we can all be caught up with as well is the next shiny object. What's the deal? Oh, that's a great tool. Oh, get that. And is that really what you need? Is this on track? Is this what we decided last week? Last week's plan was still good. Let's stick to that.
I do suffer from shiny object syndrome often.
We all do, and that's the thing. And that's where sometimes it's good to have another sounding board to go, do you really need that? I don't think you need that. But I think it's important to stress here that there's a step-by-step approach in business. There's kind of 4 key areas you need to look at. And the first step is mastery, what I call mastery. It's kind of the business mastery. First of all, it's the finances. So you might even look and go, well, are you making money? Where are you making money? What SKUs are making you money? Where are you on that regard? What's your ROI? What's your return on investment? Are you focusing on return on investment? Are you really set up that you can actually leverage this probably from a financial perspective? Because if your ROI is low, you're going to be struggling. You really need to be looking at maybe saying that SKU wasn't the greatest idea, and when we're looking at SKUs going forward, I'm going to focus more on ROI. That's the financial mastery is what I call it. There's other cash flow forecasting and all that good stuff that comes with a business, but also your destination mastery, where your goals, your delivery mastery, how are you actually delivering and going about your product and your service, your customer service, all that. You kind of need to get that mastery area right. A lot of people, there's always something that they need to be fixing on that. Especially I find with entrepreneurs is they can leave that behind. They don't like the finances side. I'm a qualified accountant for my sins too, so so I can help people on that. I'm not afraid of the numbers, and it's handy just to be able to. It is because it can be quite complicated. You do need to monitor your cash flow. Cash is always king, but especially in an e-commerce business. So people think, anybody selling online is making a fortune. They don't have to pay the rent that bricks and mortar businesses do. There's more to it than that. It's way too simplistic. And there's a lot more costs. So you have to really get on top of that. Also, your time mastery. So the kind of key areas, there's 4 or 5 key areas of mastery that I go through: time, money, destination, all that, and your mind mastery as well. But the time mastery is a big thing. You're on your own. How do you leverage that? Do you have your virtual assistants? Do you have other people that are helping you, or is it a one-man show? And that it takes a bit of time on that regard. After mastery, then comes the growth area. So what are the key areas, key stats that you're looking for? What are your leads? In any kind of bricks and mortar business, I'd always go about leads. In here is probably your sessions. How many sessions are you getting? How good are you converting? Have you got a list that you're building so that clients can come back to you? What's your average sale and your margin? So kind of 5 key areas that you look at. Don't want to go into a whole lot of depth on that. But as well as that, in growth is the kind of the cash flow, the marketing side is, are you unique? Are you just building another Me Too brand, or is there something unique? Because otherwise if you're not unique, you're going to compete on price. And if you compete on price, it's only one way the price is going, and the margins are going that same direction.
Yeah.
So they're the kind of areas to focus on. So when you've got the business growing, then what we talk about is the leverage area. And leverage is about systemizing, getting systems in place. And you'll notice I haven't mentioned anything about team here yet. The reason I'm not saying anything about team is because you got to get the systems in place before you get the team in place. That's really key, because where a lot of people go wrong is they just add more people. What happens when they add more people is there's just more problems. Get the systems in place first of all. There's a big difference between delegation and abdication. Abdication is, I'm not doing that anymore. You do it. It's that hospital pass. And the other one then is, when you actually have a system in place, you can delegate it to somebody. So, get the systems, procedures, the how-to, the video screens, get your screen captures, whatever you need to do, then pass it over to somebody. If somebody else has a skill that you don't have, well, leverage that skill, but get the systems in place before the team. So you can see there's a kind of a circle of mastery, that the mastery level, the growth level, where we're talking about your sales and marketing side, then leverage, which is systems, and then you've got your team side. And don't get team before you get systems. Now, obviously, there's businesses in place before that, so we need to go back and fix some areas.
Right.
But it's fun, and it needs to be fun. You got to be accountable for it. But a lot of people know that. Listen, I'm not as productive maybe as I think I could be, and I benefit from some bit of accountability, some other sounding board to look at. So that's what I do. Hope that's summarized it to some extent there, Melissa.
Absolutely. Oh my gosh. I mean, I can see anybody thinking like, I just want to pick his brain for just a few minutes. And that's really what you do, is you lend your expertise in this area, right?
Absolutely. That's exactly it. Like, obviously on my day job here, I do a lot by Skype, or Zoom actually is the favorite for a while, but also obviously based here locally, I would deal with bricks and mortar businesses locally. And it's great to have that balance between online, remote, and that you get a great perspective. Because, when you're starting off, when people started off the Amazon or the e-commerce business, you got to be good at what the business does. So you got to be good at, getting and picking your products and marketing those products and getting used to the PPC, the Amazon PPC system, just launching and ranking. That's your basics. But then after a while, it's actually, now there's more to it. There's the whole system, but there's the business side. It's not just a tactical business. It's now there's a whole, we've got to deal with people, and people require managing and leading, I think, is the thing as well. It's not just managing them. People like to know, well, where's this bus going? Where's the business going? Or am I just going to do an hourly rate for a while? Or if it's going somewhere, can I get excited about it? Can I buy into the brand? What's your vision? What's your mission? What's your culture? You kind of work on those. You don't need to work too much on those when you're starting up, but there comes another niche. There's another level. And when you got to get your business to another, you'll know yourself when you kind of go, listen, I'm probably stuck on this level for a while. I need to get it now to the next level. How do I do that? If I haven't run a business that's been there already. And one of the important things I've always said about anything in business is, what's your environment? Who are you hanging around with, as we'd say here? And your environment is different things. It's the Empowery network. It's, right, whoever else, it's any mastermind that you're involved in. But also, do you have a coach? Do you talk to other successful sellers, successful business people? So it's very important. Why? Because they'll help you. They'll also tell you when you're going wrong. I often use the sporting analogy. On the 1st of January every year, people decide that, I'm going to get fit. And, Christmas has just passed, and it's I've probably put on a few pounds, and yada. I need to lose weight and get fit and all that stuff. So what they often do is, we'll buy the gym membership. We might buy the bike and buy the sports gear, all that kind of good stuff. And then they'll revert. After a while, the car park outside your gym is probably very busy in January, and by March you can rock up to the front door again. So how do you need that level of accountability? You need that level of environment for people to help you to go, actually, don't do that. Don't do it that way. Do it this way. You'll hurt yourself. You'll get injured if you do it that way. Do it this way instead. But as well as that, it's a conducive environment.
It kind of goes back to the age-old adage or whatever of, you're most like the 5 people nearest to you, right?
Exactly.
And so if you're putting people near you who you can learn from and who you can grow with and who push you to do better, then you're going to be in a better position yourself. And I think that's definitely true for your business. That's why I think people go to events. I think it's why people like to be part of a bigger community. And I think that's why people struggle sometimes when they're hiring people, because they want to know that they have that same drive and motivation that they have. But I think that can be kind of a tricky road if you have an expectation that your employees or your VAs or something are going to have the same drive as you as the entrepreneur, right?
Yeah, you gotta be realistic about that for sure. You gotta pick the right person. Yeah, you do have to. What I often say, you gotta hire on heart and spirit. Like, what is their heart and spirit? What kind of drive and ambition do they have? But you also need to kind of lead from the front on that and help them and motivate them and keep them happy. Just find out what's important to them. But yeah, it's your business at the end of the day. It's your baby. You're always going to be more excited about it than they are. So don't get too worried if they're not, very, very excited about your business. If they're doing a good job and they're doing it well, that's great. There's different levels of employee that you'll have for sure.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, Michael, is there anything that you want to leave our entrepreneurs with before we let them get on with their day today?
Yeah, well, it's very important to get on with your day. It's morning time for you guys over there. It's the end of the day for me here. But yeah, it's important really to look and ask yourself. What I would always go and ask yourself is, where am I in my business? And it's a great time to do that. People are in lockdown right across the globe. We're the same as you guys over there. And it's very important just to say, well, where am I? Do a little bit of navel gazing at this time and say, where do I want to be? When this does unravel, when we do get back and the restrictions are lifted, let's grab the baton and be running and not have a standing start. Where do I want to be? Let's plan. Don't panic about where you are now. Let's plan. There's always plan. Get a good plan together. There needs to be some fear and excitement in that plan, and you probably need some accountability, is what I would say on that. I always do. I have a coach. Everybody. Yeah. I'm strongly believe in that level of accountability.
I agree. I think the accountability is it's a really big factor for me. It's when I'm working out, I need to I got to prove I did that picture or it didn't happen.
Right, exactly. Yeah, but you get that sense of achievement when you've done something, and it's very important when you get that level of you've done something, you've achieved something. Our brains, our neural association, we need that to feel that we've achieved something. Even if it's going out and cutting the grass, and you look at it and you go, that's great. There's some achievement, and then you can do something else and something else. And then when you build up momentum, you look back at the end of a quarter and go, that's good. But the end of the quarter is going to come. Where do you want to be?
Yes. Oh, what a great way to end this. That's amazing. I just want to add one last thing. There's actually this book that I was talking about to some of the entrepreneurs that I talk to regularly. It's a book called The Power of Habit, and it's sort of about the same kind of thing. Where have you read this book?
Yes.
Oh my God.
It's all about habit.
Oh, amazing. So it's like having all of the, it's that behavioral psychology meets marketing, right? And it tells you like, okay, you have to market your product or your service or whatever in a way that lets the people know that there's a habit here to be developed. And I think this is so important because it's that same sort of thing. It's what is the feeling of achievement? What means this was accomplished? And for me, it's like, okay, here's my picture. I worked out. I feel accomplished. For Febreze, it was like you clean your house and then you spray this stuff. And that's how you build this habit in your customers. I think it's a really powerful thing that I think we should be.
Yeah, you reinforce a habit ultimately.
Right. Yeah. Anyway, I wanted to just put that in there.
No, you're absolutely right. It's like the results that we have are the sum of all our habits. That's the logic behind it. Some good, some bad. But you can change habits and you can change them quickly. What habits are serving you well, what habits are not serving you.
Right. Yeah. Excellent. Okay. Well, thank you so much, you guys. If you want to get in touch with Michael Shinnick and his services at the Business Practice, you can go to empowery.com/contact. And anyone on the Empowery team who sees that first would be happy to put you in contact with Michael and his team as well. Very excited to have you as part of Empowery and part of our network. If there's anything,
delighted to be here.
Yeah. If there's anything you need from us, just let us know. If there's anything that you guys need from Michael or from the Empowery team, don't hesitate to reach out. And again, you can go to empowery.com/contact. Thank you so much, guys, for joining us for today's e-commerce connection, and we'll see you again next time. Bye,
Thanks,
guys.
Folks.
Oh my gosh, but it's tasty.